Yeah, kind of a fun chapter, I would say, inserting objects into a presentation. Some of the things, obviously PowerPoint is a multimedia application, and some of the objects are things like video, digital video, sounds, other images. We looked at dealing with digital photographs and things like that. Tables, charts from Excel also are considered objects. So let's dive right in here. And the first thing is the idea of using a text box. Well, obviously, PowerPoint has these placeholders built into it already that allow you to place text, edit text, and what does a placeholder mean? It means that the text will obey certain attributes. In other words, this text is always going to be Century Gothic 21, shadowed, which is a unique thing about PowerPoint. You can shadow the text right here, which I like shadowing my text in PowerPoint. It makes me happy. It actually makes it more readable, I think. And then we have things like center alignment, colors, whatever, so underlines. All those things are kind of built in, so anything I type into that placeholder will automatically have those attributes. Sometimes you just need to put a caption in on a photograph, or you want to get, another headline that you don't want to actually do a placeholder with. So what you can do then is insert a text box. So if you go to the insert command over here, you see text box, and you can just drag out a text box, and that text box then will allow you to type text directly into it. And just like you guys know already, you can use all of the kind of controls. Like, for instance, if you go into the paragraph launcher and the text box is highlighted, you can do things like adjust the spacing, for instance, between lines. Okay, we'll see if that works. Let me get in there. It actually works. Got to select my text first, go in, and let's see if we can adjust things like the line spacing. You can do like first line indent. Okay, so it does work. So you can use all of those controls and commands in a text box, just like you guys are familiar with from typical word processing. You can also format the text box in different ways. One of the things I like to do, especially when we do video production and things like that, you want those titles to really stand out. So if I'm using white titles and maybe somebody's moving around and they're wearing white, they kind of disappear against that. So what you can do is put your titles in a kind of bar or a stripe. So in order to do that here, we would go to Format Shape. It may say something like Format Text Box. And then we can use our typical kind of fill controls here. So I've got a white text box. Let me fill it with a solid color, a darker color, obviously, to give it some contrast. Well, it's a little weird because the slide background is already. I mean, you get the idea, right? So you can really make those text box pop. If you want someone to see something like an alert or something really important, you can, border it and fill it like that. And obviously you can move it around, resize it. So they're pretty flexible and pretty user-friendly, depending on your kind of need for it. Good? Everybody happy with that? So simplest thing that you can place as an object is a text box. The next thing is cropping a picture. And I think we actually looked at that, to tell you the truth. You remember crop to shape? Did I show you that? Yeah, so we kind of looked at that. So why would you want to crop a picture in the first place? This is actually a very good picture, right? But maybe if it's not the greatest picture, you would say things about it like there's too much headroom. So it makes the person look small if there's too much room above their head. Or maybe there's like a weird distracting element up here, like a fluorescent light hanging above their head. So you can use the crop controls then to kind of take that out. What is the rule of thirds? You know what that is? Yes, Chloe? So you wouldn't want to put somebody right in the center of the screen. It looks like a police mugshot. Like you want to hang them up on the post office wall or something like that, right? So you can see that this is following the rule of thirds. She's not right in the middle. She tends to be a little bit more on this third of the screen. Imagine I have like a tic-tac-toe board here. And you'll notice her eyes are on the upper third. So this is a good place to place the eyes. They're important. And the idea that where those lines intersect, too, are really important. So this is actually a nicely composed photograph. What else about it makes it nice? I like this blurry background. Good morning, Marco. The blurry background is called depth of field, right? Where the subject is in focus, but the background is blurred, and it serves to really make her pop and stand out. If all these books or whatever was back here was really in sharp focus, that would also be a distraction, right? So by having a shallow depth of field in both video and still photography, you can kind of train the user or the audience's eye on the important part of the scene. In any event, we can still crop this picture, and maybe I want to center her a little more. So I'm going to double click on it, and here is my crop control. And when I click on this, what's going to happen is then I'm going to get these crop handles. And they will allow me then to crop out part of the image. Let's do it on this side, and we'll crop out part of the image. And when I click on it again now, it'll crop it. If I ever want to, that part of the image is still there. So I can always go back to the crop control, and I can get this back at a later time. A lot of times you may even not realize that the photograph was cropped, so you don't even know that that's there. But you know, you're not actually dumping anything, so you always have that information there. Good, everybody happy with that? So you can crop all your corners here. You're not changing the aspect ratio typically, right? Remember, we want to keep a nice aspect ratio. But for instance, maybe I want to make this one where I just get a headshot for, say, you know, an Instagram or a resume or something like that. So it's certainly doable. Obviously, when you do crop it and then resize it, what happens? You start to sacrifice a little bit of the resolution as you start to, you know, resize it. So, you know, if you're going to really, this is actually a very nicely photographed shot, so it holds up pretty well. But if you have a low-res photo and you start doing this, then it may become pixelated, and that wouldn't be good communication. Good? Everybody happy with that then? Cropping, crop to shape, hold the aspect ratio. I think those are, you know, the important things. I kind of like crop to shape too. So we really like her, right? Pull that off on your Instagram. Okay, so the next thing then is, I think we already, I don't know why, you know, this is repeated in here, but style a picture. We looked at these things, right? So you can do things like some simple color and exposure correction here. You can add a signature kind of color look that maybe goes with your brand or website. There's a whole bunch of artistic effects that are kind of Photoshop-like. Some of them actually can be a little bit maybe, you know, harder to see what's going on, depending on what we do first, I guess. And then you can swap the picture out. Maybe you want to change it out for someone else. And you can also reset it back to its somewhat normal look. The crop is still there, though. Good? Let's take a look at now inserting a chart. So when you insert a chart, what happens is that you are calling upon PowerPoint's sister program, Excel, in the Office suite here. So let's go Insert, Chart. And what happens then is that you're basically launching Excel. And let's do a pie chart. You're going to get a kind of templated spreadsheet that's going to appear. And it's, you know, basically Excel, right? It is actually Excel running in the background. And now you can use this if you wanted to add something here, whatever. You could certainly do that. You know, you can modify it in lots of ways. You can modify the data. You can modify the labels, and all of that will be reflected. Once you are happy, then the chart is there, obviously. If you want to go back to edit it, you can use PowerPoint actually right off the bat to do some of the basic things here. But you can also edit it in Excel. So if you double click on it, you can go here to edit data, and you can actually go to Excel to edit it. And you know, if you want some more of the kind of power user things, you can edit it right in Excel and then bring it back. This is called round tripping, right? When you go from one application to the other and then kind of come back. But the basics are here. So typically the basics might be enough. You just want to see it as a bar chart maybe, and you can do that. Make a column out of it. But if you really want to get down and dirty, edit in Excel and then come back. Later on, we'll also see some things like this can be animated. So you can do things like show them just 1 quarter at a time, right? Animate it so you can really focus their attention. Good? Everybody happy with that? Real powerful. I think I told you the first day we started doing PowerPoint that PowerPoint really is a way to present Excel. That's how it was born. People were, showing Excel charts in annual report meetings and things like that, and they were using slide projectors, old school kind of means. So the software version is certainly a lot easier to go back and forth. And PowerPoint, of course, has grown from that, and it's a standalone kind of presentation tool now. Okay, so the next one was to enter and edit chart data. I think we're good with that. And then we have insert slides from other presentations. So this is a nice feature here. If you go to, I think I need to open up another presentation here somewhere. I'm just going to, did I download everything? There's another presentation here, right? So let's just download all. So we have that. There's a photograph there that you may need. And let's save these other files here. Save this other PowerPoint file. Hopefully that works. So now if I go here, if I want to put a new slide on here, I might want to put a new slide from here, which is fine, but if I pull down this list, you can see that I can pull slides from an outline, which is a Word outline typically, right? You can do the text just in Word, or someone else can do the text in Word and deliver it to you to do the layout and the graphic design. And then you can also do this reuse slides. So if we do that, then I'm going to import the slides from another application. I don't know, I got to find one. Here we go. So here's the support file here that you guys are going to use. And you can see there's 3 slides in there. They have a different template, right? So typically the default is if I bring this white background into this show, it'll falter over and get the gray background. But you can also, if you want to, maintain this template so that they will stand out even more. So let's select all 3 of them. And you see they're coming in like that, right? They're coming in with that, gray look to them. Here's the keep source formatting. So if I do that when I bring them in now, they'll come in as white slides. Okay, but obviously you probably want to make them look like parent program, right? You might call it, actually the proper term is the source and destination. So this is the source program and the destination is going to be this one. So I want to match the destination file. Good? Everybody happy with that? So it's great if you do a lot of presenting. You might want to have a master show that you pull slides out of and tailor it to different target audiences. Okay, the next thing is to insert a table. And again, this is like a lot of stuff that you guys already know from Word. Why would I want to insert a table? What can a table do for me? How about Juliana? Why would you want to do a table in your PowerPoint slide? What can you present clearly with a table? Yeah, some kind of lists, right? Maybe you want to show people like items and prices or, locations and dates, something like that where there's some kind of grid going on that just kind of makes it easy to scan. So instead of just listing it here, I can do this nice kind of table format, a banded list. And again, it's the same thing, similar to editing in Word. I can do all kinds of stylized things with my table to make it look more readable, make it look more kind of friendly, and also make it maybe look more like this presentation. So I don't know if this yellow works against that. Maybe I want to go more along the lines of the grays, if I'm staying with the gray look or whatever. So, obviously, stuff that you guys already know from Word. Good? And again, the table can be animated. So you can show them 1 row at a time, 1 column at a time, and focus their information on that, or their attention, I should say. And then we have word art. Word art is kind of fun, I guess. Sometimes it used to look very garish, but now it kind of has matured like a fine wine. And the idea is that word art is a way to kind of take your text and make it look like, or actually it's a graphic, but it looks like text. Okay, so let's try something like here, like AC 161. It looks pretty impressive, right? I could probably do this if I fooled around with the font controls, but it's much easier to kind of just go right into word art, and then same thing, I can kind of format my word art with all the basic controls. I can do interesting kind of glow effects or something to really kind of make it stand out. So again, you don't want to overuse this stuff. You don't want your thing to look like a circus or a carnival. It may be a little too much over the top, but the basic things, if you use it wisely, it can really stand out. So you'll be doing that too, formatting some word art, and then animating. So what is the purpose of animation? I told you guys a couple of times. Why would I want to animate something? How about Mackenzie? How about Madison? Why would I want to animate something? Say it again. To make it stand out, right? We like things that move, right? So we see things that move. It kind of grabs your attention. And it also allows you to delineate things in a kind of step-by-step. So you can really, focus. There's only one thing to look at because the slide is totally blank, and I just put up one word. And then I put up another word. So you really have a focus of attention so that you can spoon feed the information the way you want to and also focus people's attention on a particular item. Good. Very good, Madison. So how do we animate things? Well, you first have to select it, and then you go to the Animations tab, and you have various ways to animate. You can bring things on. So let's try split. And that's how it looks when it comes on with a split. And then you can make it do something while it's there. So this is kind of emphasis. So now it actually did something else. And then I'm going to also add another split to make it disappear. Okay, so now I've got those three animations there to manage. And you can do other things too. You can do like motion paths where it'll move in a certain thing. You can even make a custom path. Maybe it'll move around from photograph to photograph that you placed. Something like that can work. And there's more paths here, so you can spend a long time. Actually, this is something that is somewhat time-consuming in PowerPoint. There are effect options, so you can split like a curtain up and down, or like a door side to side. You can do it as groups. You can add a trigger, so that at a certain point, when you click on something else, or even in a video when it's playing, like a certain point of the video, like in a YouTube video, at the end you'll see some cards come up or something like that. So you can do that kind of thing. So while your video is playing towards the end, maybe you bring up your email address or your website or something like that. So the trigger will correspond to a certain timestamp in the video, and that'll trigger the animation to happen. That could be fun, right? You can even do it in a certain time frame here. You can say how long you want it to be. So if I want to reorder those animations, I want to see the entire animation pane. So that's this. And let's animate another object, actually. It might be fun. So let's put something else on there. So we'll just put another shape. Okay, and take that shape now and animate it. And now you can see that we have two animated objects. These numbers that go with them are called animation tags. So when you see that number, you know the item is animated. And over here, we can preview the animation, or we can change the order just by dragging them. So now I'll make the rectangle first and the word art second. I don't know why the word art it's a little strange the way it's animated. You can also pull down this arrow to do other interesting things, like for instance, make them happen at the same time, so that they can, multiple objects can animate together. I may want to change the speed, or add a sound. Do I want to add a sound? Let's try it. How about a bomb? I don't know. It works, right? You guys can hear that? I don't know where it's coming from. It's coming from my speaker, or it's on the big speakers. But right? Now, you don't want to do that all the time either, right? Because it gets monotonous. So if every animation has a bomb, every slide change has a bomb, then you're going to really kind of upset your audience. But if you do it once in a while, then it really has a certain impact. Good? And the last thing here is to insert and edit digital video. So I'm sure that they gave us a video to insert. And I don't know, yeah, here it is, more items. So here's the video. 2 videos, actually. They're in MP4 format. And I'm just curious, I shot something with my phone just now and see if I can get that to work. I sent it to myself as an email attachment. Let's see if I actually got it. Oh, Jazara is not here today. Hopefully, Jazara, are you joining us? Because it's probably the same link.
I'm here.
Oh, you are here.
I joined the link.
Very good. I'm glad you're here.
I wasn't sure if you
I guess it always is the same link unless I, change it. So I'm glad, that makes sense that we have one link that we can follow. It just makes life easier. So I think this is the digital video. So no, it doesn't look good. I don't know. Let's see if it works. Anyway, let's see what I can do as far as getting one of them in there, whether it's mine or the house video that they supplied for us. Okay, so we're going to go to Insert and then Video down at the end here. You can do screen recordings right into PowerPoint. So you don't need Screencast-O-Matic. You can go right into PowerPoint. You can then record your webcam directly into PowerPoint too. So pretty powerful multimedia tool. A lot of people don't realize all the things. They just think, it's boring lecture slides, right? So let's see what we got here. Insert video. I can find the ones on my PC. I'll be happy, but if not, we'll go for, I think this is the one I put in there actually. Yeah, there it is. Pretty distorted, huh? Pretty scary looking. I don't know why it looks so weird like that. Okay, but there is the video, and you can kind of treat it like a graphic object. You can move it around. You can do things like grab a poster frame from the video. So, you might want to pick a certain frame in there. If you don't, the default poster frame is the first frame. And then we can do things like correct it. This looks like it needs a lot of correction, right? But just like a regular photograph, I have too much headroom. See that? And I've got weird lights above my head. So I can, crop the video in the same way and, change the aspect ratio. I can set a certain aspect ratio here. I can also do things like put it in an interesting frame. What else? I can actually colorize it too. It might get even weirder, but you get the idea, right? And then you'd want to say, how is this video going to play? So on the playback tab over here, then you can look at things like when it will start. You can actually do some basic editing on the video. You can trim the head and tail off. You can add a bookmark. And remember, that bookmark can be used to trigger another event. So at a certain point in the video, your website comes up. You can have it fade in and out. I like that. Let's put a 2-second fade on there. In and out. You can adjust the volume. Right now it says start and click sequence. I'm going to change it to start automatically. And then I want it to play full screen. You can even say hide when not playing, so you won't even see it. You won't see that there's a, kind of a thumbnail version of it on there. How about you really want to upset your audience, loop until stopped. So that means it'll keep playing over and over again. That might be good for an unattended show, right? Where you don't really have a presenter. And you can put captions in there. So pretty much anything you can do with video on, YouTube, you can pretty much do right in PowerPoint. So let's see how this show plays now. I don't want to get you too nervous, but I'm going to escape out of here. Go down to the bottom. There's the slideshow control in the status bar. So let's go there. And
hey everyone, it's Fresco Kinos. Please don't forget to do your student evaluations. They are an important part of the tenure and promotion process here at FIT, and also to ensure that you're getting the best education possible.